Hello, and thank you for watching The Righteous Kitchen, a cooking and baking blog found at www.therighteouskitchen.blogspot.com. Today I want to show you how I prepare barbecued ribs. And right here I have 2 racks of pork baby back ribs. And I always start by removing the tough silver skin in the back, and I did on a prior video do a walkthrough through that, but today I'm actually going to take you through the whole process of making the ribs, marinating them, prepping them, and everything. So this membrane is really tough, so it takes a little bit of work to get in here and loosen it from the bones. Let me see here. Wow, this might actually be the toughest one I've ever come across. So let me see here. I usually just, give it a little. There we go. I think I went down too far on that one. Okay. So we have this membrane, and I'm just trying to slide my finger under it. And then you could just kind of walk your way around it. There we go. I like to do this because this isn't something that, is enjoyable to eat. So I get this off of here, and then, see that? It's very tough. It's like tape. It's like duct tape. It's hard to even get a grip of it and rip it off, but that's what I'm trying to do. It's a little slippery. So I think just walking, just scooting your fingers under it. Very tough. And slippery. I'm going to get I don't want to contaminate anything I touch, so I have a soapy rag, and that helps me. Okay, let me see if I could grab it. Alright, so we got the silver skin off, and I'll do that with the other one too, but I want you to see how I prep these. So this is the baby back rib. So if it was St. Louis, it'd have another flap up here that you would cut off and stuff, and that was the one I did a demo in. But these here, they're really easy to see where the ribs are, where you should section them. But what I like to do is go in here and lightly cut in between each rib, and then that's going to help me later on to cut the ribs. I know exactly where I started on each of these, and I'm only cutting them about 1/4 of an inch deep. All right, so that's all scored. All right, let me put this aside. All right, I'm gonna let these ribs marinate overnight in the dry rub. So I've got my dry rub off to the side, off of the board, and my rack of ribs have been prepped. So what I'm gonna do is drizzle some cooking oil, and I do this because I want the seasoning to stick to everything. So rub that in. And I'm keeping one hand clean and the other one won't be clean. So here, clean hand comes over here. Sprinkle generously. All right, and then put that back in the clean area. So the dirty hand will do the rubbing. You just want this all over the ribs. Okay, this one needs a little bit more, so I got this clean situation. All right, so the back sides are coated. You just flip it over. All right, now this is curved, so you gotta be careful with your oil. All right. And see, since we didn't get this hand dirty, our bottle of oil isn't dirty. So here we go. Back to the jar and just sprinkle. I probably used about 4 ounces of this seasoning. Put that right back in there. All right, so you're just gonna get all this seasoning all over. I'll save some of this seasoning to sprinkle over the sauce. All right, so both sides, and then we didn't contaminate the spice jar. All right, so there we go. And I'll show you, and keep a soapy rag in case you want to touch anything. You know, that you don't contaminate everything. So see, I want to move this pan over, but I don't want to take a risk of anything getting on it. So now I can move the pan over. And then here's that second rack of ribs. It's gonna marinate right in this pan. And then tomorrow, I'm gonna slow cook it, same pan with the lid on it. We're gonna cook it low heat for several hours till they're fork tender. And then we're gonna do that before we put them on the grill. So that's it. Step 1 of our barbecued ribs. So I'll just put these in the refrigerator, and I'll come back tomorrow morning when it's time to put them in the oven. We are back, and these ribs have been marinating in the dry rub overnight. And so they've got all this flavor, you know, permeated on them. And all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and cook them right in this pan to make everything easy. I used to wrap the ribs in foil and put them on a baking tray. What I found with that is that they steam in the foil and release a lot of juices that can spill over the pan. So for that reason, I now cook them in this roaster. I don't waste foil, and there's no issue of juices overflowing the pan. So this is a perfect situation. So I'm just going to put the lid on. Okay, so I have these ribs ready. They are going to go into a 300-degree oven for 2 to 3 hours until they're fork tender. But I don't want to bake them to the point that the ribs are falling off the bone. We want it just short of that. And the reason why is we want the whole rib to be in one piece to make it to the grill. Okay, so they're going to be tender but not falling off the bone. All right, and this is going to go into the preheated 300-degree oven on the bottom rack. We'll be back later to check on them. Okay, these ribs have been cooking for 2 hours at 300 degrees, and I'm going to go ahead and take them out and have a look. Let me get this oven door closed real quick. All right. Now I want to show you all that liquid that's come through there. I don't have to worry because I have it in a nice roaster here. And all that fat is just rendering right out of these ribs. And these are fork tender. I don't know if you can see that. But the fork is going all the way through here. But they're not breaking away from the ribs. All right, so I'm gonna say that's done. So that's 2 hours. So I'm just gonna take them right over here. Okay. All this grease, it's just grease. You could just throw it away. So these are gonna be ready for the grill. I'm gonna go ahead and fire up the grill and let the charcoals get nice and gray before I put these on the grill. And then at that time, I'm gonna be brushing them with barbecue sauce. I wanted to mention, every time after I'm done grilling, while the charcoal is still warm, I go ahead and clean up the grill. Then I bring it into the kitchen and give it a really good scrubbing, so that at any time when I am ready to grill, I just bring out the grate and just give it a quick rinse, let it dry, and then I'm ready. So what I'm telling you basically is, as soon as you're done grilling, get your grate cleaned up and bring it in the house and store it. You don't want to store it out in the grill. You're just gonna forget about it. It's gonna get rusty and grimy and dirty. Just clean it up each time and bring it inside. So as the grill is heating up, when it gets closer to that, I'm gonna smear Crisco over this, and it's gonna give me a great non-stick surface that I'll heat up on the grill for a few minutes before I put the ribs on. So just a tip, keep that grate clean, bring it inside. Okay, I am prepping the charcoal grill. I always give it a good rinse out before I start, and I have the bottom vent halfway open, and then the vent for the lid I'm just going to do halfway as well. We don't need a large flame on this. We're just glazing the meat. It's already been cooked, so we want to be able to control the heat. And I am using a chimney starter, and I've got some some newspaper at the bottom, probably about 4 or 5 sheets of newspaper, and then I filled it up with charcoal. And then you want to be careful. I always have a garden hose ready in case things get out of hand. You just never know. And I like to stay out here until the flames die down in the fire starter and the charcoal has turned gray. Alright. So all you do is you just come in here and you just light this. And just set it right in the grill. And it's gonna just take off. You don't want to stand in front of the smoke. So stay behind the smoke. If things are getting crazy, you can always put the lid back on there. Just open the vent all the way. It's still going to have enough air to circulate. Okay, my grill is almost ready, and I have this grate that's cleaned and dried. And like I said, I always coat it with the good stuff. This is the best when you want to make sure that something is going to be non-stick. So I didn't take all that time cooking and marinating the ribs and lighting up the grill for my meat to stick. Just make sure, and then this, I've had this grate here for 29 years. I got this grill on our first wedding anniversary, and I've never had to take and replace the grate because I take care of it. So there's no buildup on it. All right, so this is ready. When I get the hot coals into the bottom of the charcoal grill, I'll set this on there and let it get really hot for about 5 minutes before I put the meat on there. Charcoal is turned gray, so I'm going to carefully dump it into the bottom of this grill. All right. And then while I have it, I'm just going to make an even layer. And then we'll move this out of the way so nobody gets burnt. And then here's the grate with the Crisco. That's going to be there for about 5 minutes while I get the sauce ready. Okay, I am back from getting the grill prepped, and right now the grate with the Crisco, the grate is on there. It's getting nice and heated up. In the meantime, I have my ribs, and I'm just going to prep real quick. It's good to have everything prepped before you go outside. You want everything ready so that you're not running in and out. So my favorite barbecue sauce is Sweet Baby Ray's. I like the Kansas City sweet sticky molasses type barbecue sauce, but I also like this vinegar style sauce from Vitex out of Waco, Texas. And every time my relatives go there, I have them bring 5 or 6 jars so that I have it handy. Let's see if I can get this. There we go. paint can trick, paint opener, gets this jar open every time. What I want to do is, I got a little more than half of that, and I'm going to use the rest of this Baby Ray's. And the way to get this sauce out is just to bang it on the edge of your counter till it all drops to the bottom. Do that a couple times. I'm going to get a big spoon, and that's how I'm going to sauce these. I'm not going to use a pastry brush. I have one. They're messy. They hold in all the sauce, and I like this because it gives me reach that I'm not going to be too close in the heat of the barbecue grill. And the whole point is to get the sauce on there. So what I'm going to do is get these coated really good before I go out there. And I'll do, might as well do both sides. One, we're just slathering it on. We want these to develop a nice shellac finish. Alright, so here's one. And the time that it's taken me to do this, that grate is going to be super hot. Alright, let's do this. I'll show you my setup. Let me get all this. All that extra sauce. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and remove my gloves. I think I'm pretty good on that now. Now I'm going to cart everything that I need right into this pan. So I've got my rack of ribs. They're stacked up. I've got more sauce with a spoon to spoon it on there. I've got some tongs that I'm going to need to flip it. And then when the ribs come off of the grill, I'm going to want to keep them covered. Alright, so that is it. The grill is ready. And all the food is ready, so I'm just going to carry it all out there and set it on a little table that I have next to the grill. All right, it's grill time. We've got one. And two. Right there. Okay, we don't need a direct flame. The bottom vent is halfway open, and the top vent is going to be halfway open as well. So all you do is wait about 10 minutes. I'll flip them over and then kind of just see what that glaze looks like. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes and the airflow wasn't exactly where I wanted it, so I've got this top vent all the way open and the bottom vent as well. So these have been cooking about 10 minutes and I'm going to go ahead and flip them. It's got a nice char and that glaze is thickening up. That's what you want. We don't have to worry about anything burning because we're doing this at a low heat. There you go. You can hear it sizzling a little bit. That's because the air is kicking up under it. After 10 minutes, okay, it's been another 10 minutes. So we're gonna see what we've got here. Well, that's pretty grill marks. And I'm gonna go ahead and sauce them some more. I'm gonna let the flame hit these for a couple of minutes before I put the lid back on. Alright, these ribs have been going for about 30 minutes, just building a glaze. Nice and sticky. And this is why I didn't cook them all the way till fall off the bone, because we were going to finish them on the grill. So now they're at that point where they could, you know, just be pulled from the bone, but you never really want to cook them till they're falling off the bone. All right, these are done. Just slide your tongs right up there. All right, I'm gonna put the lid on these and off to the side, and then I'm gonna, oh, those are tender. Sweet, but a little bit of tang. All right. I always put the fire out and clean up my grill. That's why this grate has lasted 29 years. I take care of my stuff. Now what I'll do when I come back after this has cooled completely I'll wash it and store it in the house. The grill is cool, and I don't have to worry about anyone coming by and getting burnt. And the ashes go right into the garden. So, take this inside. Okay, I am back with these grilled baby back ribs, and they were on the grill on a low heat for a half an hour, and I glazed them, and they're still nice and hot here, but I want to put them on the board so you can see exactly what they look like. Look at these ribs. All right, now let me adjust the camera. They're sweet, they're tangy, and they're a little bit sticky because of the sweet baby rays. So let's cut into a rack of these ribs. Now, how do I want to do this? Remember when I prepped them, I scored, and you can still see these scores. So I'm going to cut through. And this little end piece on the end, there's a little bone there sometimes. There you go. Looky there. That is great looking. So here we go. We've got one whole rack and then one sliced up. And let's see if I could get these on the tray. Okay, so we have these racker ribs. Just sliced them, put them on a tray. So that's how you would serve it. And then I have another whole one here that I'll cut as needed. But I've walked you through the whole step of, you know, taking the silver skin off, marinating it, baking it, setting up your charcoal grill. And then this flavor combination of these sauces is really enjoyable. So here we go. We've got a taste test here. Now see how it's real tender. Hold on, I'm gonna take a bite. Very tender. See how I can bite it off of the bone? That's what you want. You want it to be able to pull away from the bone when you bite it. Very delicious, you guys. Comes right from the bone. Doesn't look sloppy. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time.